Hey y'all, this is Marley K. Hope y'all are well. Got a story I want to share with you about facial recognition data that has been collected are being this it's being collected by all these different stores. Every time you go into a store, if you walk down a city street, if you are at a parade, you go into the bank, every place you go now, even your driver's licenses, when you go have pictures taken for work or for whatever, all this digital data is stored and it is being shared with any and everybody, even selfies on your phone, even pictures that you take, um, on your own for your social media profiles. It's just a constant collection of data that's happening. And what all this data is being collected for, these photographs, is for predictive policing. And when we talked about predictive policing some time ago, years ago, I did anyway. And I wrote an essay about how often predictive policing was wrong when it came to African American and Hispanic people. People were being picked up and arrested and held for days, weeks, and months on, you know, bad artificial intelligence, basically. And so, Rite facial recognition misidentified Black, Latino, and Asian people as likely shoplifters. Now, of course, I'm going to say this to be transparent. You can go into any of these stores, Walgreens, Rite Aid, CVS, Walmart, whatever, and you'll see wherever there are products for us, there are also lots of cameras. If you go to the hair product aisle, there are cameras overhead or at the end of the aisle watching us constantly as we um, make our selections, while nothing is around white folks' aisle, as if somehow they don't steal. But there is a historic pattern of racism and discrimination when it comes to theft and shoplifting in these stores. And so they tend to monitor us more. And now monitoring isn't necessarily an employee following you around asking, "Can I help you? Can I help you? Can I help you with something?" Now it's cameras overhead or at the end of the aisle at the entrance of a store, and collecting data at self checkout and monitoring you as you leave the store, collecting data in the parking lot from the parking lot cameras and the building cameras. So you're under constant surveillance. And as we go into and out of these businesses and we shop, if we browse, we're not allowed to browse long. We linger too much. If we touch too many things, then we are a problem. And so Rite Aid got sued because they were using their surveillance systems to incorrectly label um, shop label shoppers as shoplifters, and they were doing this without the customer's consent. So they had to make a settlement with the Federal Trade Commission. So it says Rite Aid used racial recognition systems to identify shoppers that were previously deemed likely to engage in shoplifting without customer consent and misidentified people, particularly women and Black, Latino, or Asian people, on numerous occasions, according to a new settlement with the Federal Trade Commission. As part of the settlement, Rite Aid has been forbidden from deploying facial recognition technology in its stores for 5 years. 5 years, that'll be 2029, might as well say 2030, which is when everybody's going to want to use it, because that's when the 2030 agenda will be live officially. Um, but what I want to say is that now, if this technology is doing this now, how is it going to be better for us in this new global order? It's not. It's going to be just another form of imprisonment and discrimination for Black people. in particular. I'm not talking about no other groups because that's not what I typically talk about on my channel. Although I understand other groups were mentioned, I'm just focusing on Black people, African Americans, and Black people in general. So this is disturbing to me because we can go any place and we're under constant surveillance already. Not only do we have to worry about the physical white people who are looking at us and always feel like they need to protect everything from us when they've destroyed so many things on this earth. They all now we also have to deal with artificial intelligence, which is programmed by racists, developed by racists, and my question as we go along into this agenda and as everybody just happily goes on as if nothing is wrong, how is this going to make life better for us? It's not going to make life better for us. How are things going to improve for us? They're not going to improve for us. As you can see, this is going to make life more difficult for us because this is just one more thing that we will have to fight against. And say if you have been accused of shoplifting because AI saw your picture and said you shoplifted at another store on XXX date, or like a lot of people have been complaining about the self checkout kiosk has been accusing people of stealing stuff, and so 2 3 months later, after you done purchased and used whatever you got from the store, the police show up at your door in the middle of the night saying that you stole something from self checkout at Walmart. And so now you got to hire legal representation to defend you from this false allegation. And so we are not going to get a break when this new system comes in. Which is why you're going to not want to be wanting to be in society. The digitalization, it's just going to be a digital concentration camp for Black people. The FTC said in a federal court complaint that Rite Aid used facial recognition technology in hundreds of stores from October 2012, I'm sorry, to July 2020 to identify shoppers it had previously deemed likely to engage in shoplifting or criminal behavior. What? The technology sent alerts to Rite Aid employees either by email or phone when it identified people entering the store on its watch list. So you could be on the watch list and you didn't even know it. And this is not the only store that uses this technology. There are other stores that use this technology. So, you know, it's going back to where the technology has been trained to look at our facial features, our hairstyles, what we wear, how we walk, what you bring into the store. So, like, you just can't even be normal. You can't walk around with the sweats on. You can't have your hair a certain way. You can't have a bad day because you're subject to trigger this technology, and it'll say that you could be a shoplifter. So then, therefore, you're going to be policed a little more, or you're going to be asked, "Do you need any help? Can I help you? Can I help you get anything?" Mm, 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 mm. The FTC said in its complaint that store employees would then put those people under increased surveillance, ban them from making purchases, or accuse them in front of friends, family, and other customers of previously committing crimes. The facial recognition system was largely used in New York City, LA, San Francisco, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Detroit, Atlantic City, Seattle, Portland, Oregon, um, Wilmington, Delaware, and Sacramento, California, according to the settlement. So basically, a lot of the sacrificial cities, and these probably were like test projects, like pilots. So without you knowing, I'm glad I didn't hardly go into Rite Aid. I don't know, I just didn't hardly go into them. But if you went into a Rite Aid, your information is probably stored somewhere and they've got you labeled. So whenever they build this big brain and put all these pictures in there, that data from Rite Aid will go in there too. So if you were an avid Rite Aid shopper, you may be labeled as a potential prospective previous thief and not know it. The settlement addresses charges that the struggling drugstore chain did not do enough to prevent harm to its customers and implement reasonable procedures, the government agency said. Rite Aid said late on Tuesday that it disagreed with the allegations, but it was glad it had reached an agreement to resolve the issue. As part of the contract with two private unnamed vendors, Rite Aid created or directed the companies to create a database of persons of interest that included images of the people and and other personally identifying information. Those images were often low quality and were captured through Rite Aid CCTV cameras, the facial recognition cameras, or on the mobile phones of employees, according to the settlement. So even employees were using their mobile phones to record you without your permission on behalf of the store that don't pay them nothing to do that. It's crazy. You got to be careful when you work for these companies because they'll be asking you to do all kinds of illegal stuff that ain't none of your business. Don't you never use your personal devices to do nothing for the man. Nothing. Nothing. You can make a phone call if you got a call or whatever, but recording and taking pictures and stuff stored on your phone, which could be associated with your data account, cloud, or wherever they keep this information. Don't do that. Security workers were trained to push for as many enrollments as possible, and the company enrolled at least tens of thousands of individuals in its database, according to FTC documents. The federal complaint also said there were numerous instances in which the technology incorrectly identified someone who entered the store, and Rite Aid failed to test its accuracy before using it. Of course they did, because white supremacy don't never do nothing wrong. They're never wrong. For instance, Rite Aid did not ask one of the two private vendors it worked with whether its technology had been tested for accuracy, according to the settlement. In fact, the vendor explicitly states in its contract that it makes no representation or warranties as to the accuracy and reliability of its facial recognition system. But if that's the case, why are you selling that crap? This goes to just show also how the whole system is just a racket. Because if you can sell this and you have somebody for a major corporation that says, okay, we're going to use this technology and we're going to deploy it in all of our stores, but they don't do the legal piece to make sure that they have a guarantee that the information that is collected is accurate and reliable and will hold up in court. That's insane to me. That is insane. The FTC also said the company failed to take reasonable steps to train and oversee the employees charged with operating the technology in the Rite Aid stores. Civil liberty and digital rights groups, the Electronic Privacy Information Center, said the facial recognition can be harmful in any context, but that Rite Aid failed to take even the most basic precautions. The result was sadly predictable. Thousands of misidentifications that disproportionately affected Black, Asian, and Latino customers, some of which led to humiliating searches and store rejections, said John Davison, Epic's director of litigation. Rite Aid says the allegations center on a pilot program. See, I tell you it was a pilot. I hate to say I told you so, but I'm telling you, man, I've been doing this for so long. I could just tell by reading something what it is and what it is trying to achieve. So, we've been guinea pigs for a long time. And when you wake up and you finally figure out you've been bamboozled, like you just be on a whole other vibe. And that's where I am. So I don't mean to be like I told you so, I told you so, I told you so, but like so many people don't believe nothing that I say. So that's why I'm really validating myself. Um, so it says, Rite Aid says the allegations center on a pilot program it used in a limited number of stores, and it stopped using this technology more than 3 years ago. We respect the FTC's inquiry and are aligned with the agency's mission to protect consumer privacy, the company said in a statement posted on its website. However, we fundamentally disagree with the facial recognition allegations in the agency's complaint. Studies have shown facial recognition systems have been found to routinely misidentify Black and brown people. In the last few years in the US, there have been 6 known cases of Black people being falsely arrested due to facial recognition. This is a groundbreaking case, a major stride for privacy and civil rights, and hopefully just the beginning of a trend, Davidson said. But it's important to note that Rite Aid isn't alone. Businesses routinely use unproven algorithms and snake oil surveillance tools to screen consumers, often in secret. And so that's why I was telling you, anytime you go into a store, anytime you go into Walmart, you can look up in the ceiling, you can go to the self checkout, depending on which sections of the store you visit, if you're in like electronics or cosmetics or back in the sporting goods section, you could be on camera and like not even really know. Like you know the store is recording, but you just don't really know how much surveillance is in that store. Um, Sometimes they have undercovers walking around following you, and you don't even really realize those people are undercovers watching you. Um, it's wild how much surveillance is taking place in our societies, and we don't even give it a second thought. We're just like, okay, we're on camera, like nobody pushes back. So it says the FTC is right to crack down on these practices, and businesses would be wise to take note. Algorithmic lawlessness is not an option anymore, and that's basically what has been happening. Rite Aid also noted in a prepared statement that any agreement would have to be approved in U.S. bankruptcy court. The company announced last fall that it was closing more than 150 stores as it makes its way through a voluntary Chapter 11 bankruptcy process. The company has struggled financially for years and also faces financial risk from lawsuits over opioid prescriptions like its bigger rivals, CVS and Walgreens. So, with that said, um, we're not going to get any relief when this digitalization, fully arrives. Black people can be jammed up at any time. It's just one more thing that we have to worry about as the system transitions. And it talks about we want to live in this world that has peace and joy and everybody's equal and da 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 da. Well, how? When the cameras even are racist, the algorithms are racist, everything is centered on accusing us, darker races, of being thieves and troublemakers and not good citizens. So there's nothing good going to come from digitalization. I'm sorry, and I don't care who disagree with me. Just, I'm gonna die on that hill. So anyway, I just wanted to share this with you so that you will have some food for thought. It's a data point as you go into these stores. Look up, look around, see what's recording you. Um, you may want to make sure you keep your receipts of things that you purchased in the event that somebody comes knocking on your door in the middle of the night 6 months after you went to the store and say you bought something on this particular day, but you have no proof. Or I'm sorry, you didn't buy it. You stole something on a particular day, but you don't have any proof. So you may want to, you know, think about that. I don't typically think about stuff like that, but it just gives me pause now as we get closer and closer to the shift of this old system and the new system comes alive. That's something else that we have to think about. And as Black people, like, we just don't ever get a break. This is why we need the wilderness so bad. Because when you live amongst Esau and them, you constantly are having to figure out life. Like, you just can't do life and live. You always got to be, you know, trying to figure out what trap they set up for you. And even when it's a trap you don't even think about, know about, it's a trap somewhere waiting on you. Can't even go to the store and get things that you need, which is why we should be self-sufficient and shouldn't have to go into their stores. Because if we didn't have to go to them, we wouldn't have these problems. If we had our own stores in our own communities, if we had our own supply chains, if we had our own food systems, if we had our own healthcare systems and did not integrate into their systems, we wouldn't have to be getting told to come out of her. We wouldn't have to be worried about being labeled or accused or humiliated by them, because that's all they do. That's what they do. That's why we ain't supposed to be with them. That's why um, our road is supposed to be narrow. We're not supposed to deal with all these different people and all these different groups because they have different hearts and mindsets and they don't like us. And that is what all the coloreds need to remember. And I'm not trying to be derogatory. I'm just saying all the people of color, especially black people, I don't care how much you raccoon for these children of the corn, they're never going to like you. They're never going to allow you to be in their group. You're only going to be in if you do certain things, and you're only going to be able to stay in for a certain period of time. After that, they're going to put you out. They're going to break their tools. They're going to give you your wake up call. And a lot of us are getting ready to get our wake up calls because once they institute this digitalization of these, merge these photos and DMV records and cell phone pictures and social media stuff, it's just gonna be a mess. So, and everybody got a twin or five on this planet. So just like, I don't even understand. It's the dumbest thing. I have to really hold my tongue because I'll be wanting to cuss. It's just so stupid. It's stupid. It's stupid. And I just can't see any good coming from it. But that's neither here nor there. It's coming, so we just got to deal with it or stay away from it. It's your choice. All right, this is Marley K. Please like this video, share it, and subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell notification so that you'll be notified each and every time I upload new content. Make sure you are still subscribed to the channel if you have been subscribed for some time, because a lot of people are being unsubscribed. And make sure you are subscribed to receive notifications, because a lot of people are not getting the notifications from this particular channel for whatever reason. I know the reason, but I'm just saying. If you'd like to follow me on other platforms, I'm on Rumble, I'm on Odyssey, I am on Instagram, and I am on Facebook. Follow me there, so in the event that I am booted off of YouTube, you can catch me on other platforms. I will continue to bring content as long as the internet is up and I'm not persecuted in such a way that I'm not able to. Lastly, keep praying, keep prepping, keep seeking the Most High. Repent for your sins daily, sins of commission and sins of omission, and make sure that you are keeping the Sabbath. The only way we're going to get out of this mess is through the Creator, relying on the Creator. There's no way we're going to be able to navigate all this stuff that we got to navigate on our own. So if you thinking you're just gonna be able to have a solution for everything, an earthly solution, you in trouble, honey. You're gonna be gone so fast. So anywho, just make sure you are doing the best you can to navigate everything that is coming for us, because it's coming quickly. And this facial recognition stuff, misidentification crap is just now white algorithms taking the place of white women and white men lying on us in courtrooms saying we did something when we didn't do it, or on the job, or at school, or wherever. So they just got help now, more help, more help. Algorithms for white supremacy is more help. All right, this is Marley K, and I am out.